Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am so excited to be with you here on a fantastic Thursday. You can always find me at 303-562-8659. Feel free to take a picture of this clipboard and give me a call later if you've got anything you want to go over. I would be happy to do a live FaceTime video with you on this fantastic used Ventana. But as usual, I like to start my videos from the inside out, so Jody, please go ahead and take her on back. So this is a fun story. I have some fantastic clients that bought a Baystar initially, traded that in for this wonderful Ventana, really found out that they had an affinity for camping, and now they are driving a wonderful 2025 London Air. So these are the kind of folks you would like to buy a coach from. First and foremost, this 2021 only has 24,900 miles on it, 24,900.2 if you want to be specific, and it is a bath and a half model. Now in the 2021 floor plans, we had still these radius showers, but as you can see, this shower is completely clean, nice and luxurious. They've done some interesting things. They've got a different shower head here. Of course, it's got that factory teak bench that you would expect. And then this is gonna have a 105-gallon freshwater capacity, a 65-gallon gray water capacity, and a 40-gallon black water capacity. All of that being said, one of the things that's so nice about this diesel pusher is not only that it's 400 horsepower, 1,250 foot-pounds of torque, and it has comfort drive, that's got a steerable tag axle, or I should say a passive tag axle, and a 15,000-pound towing capacity, but also that it has all of the creature features that you would hope for. So for instance, right now we're running the air conditioning units. There are two 15,000 BTU ACs on, running off of the 8-kilowatt quiet diesel generator. You can't even hear it up front. And that is of course because while you're going down the road in a diesel pusher, all of your power is coming from underneath the floor here in the rear of the coach. There's no drive axle going down the middle, which means you've got great under passage or under basement storage as well. But then on top of it, you've got some really fantastic things available to you by Newmar even in 2021. So this coach is on the Freightliner chassis. It has an 8.9 liter ISL. Again, 1,250 foot-pounds of torque is a lot of torque for getting up and over those mountain passes, especially with a 15,000-pound towing capacity. Really fantastic. But on top of it, this coach was optionally all electric back in 2021. Now that's a standard feature, but in that you get a whole lot of cool things. So for instance, this has a tankless hot water heater as opposed to a 10-gallon, for instance, water heater. So this has got the Oasis system, and in that you have the Aquamizer system paired with the Oasis system, giving you not only tankless hot water, but you can also switch this over to recycle. It will allow the water to run underneath the coach and heat up. It pulls from that 105 gallons of fresh water back into that tank until it's hot. And then after that, you switch it over, and that's when it will start to come out over the top of you and into your gray water tank. So again, with having a 65-gallon gray water tank, you don't want to start filling that up when you've got 100 gallons of fresh water, right? With 105 gallons of fresh water, if you start filling up that gray water tank when you're just warming up the water, you're wasting that capacity when you're boondocking. So this is a very, very nice feature on this coach. And then also you'll notice they've installed little hooks all over the coach, and I'm going to point those out as we go through today because in all honesty, Eric and Kathy really think things through a lot. They're very fastidious folks, and they've really upgraded this coach. And to be honest with you, I think if we hadn't had such a beautiful London Air here, I think that they would have been happy to keep this RV. But while they were in town, they stopped by and took a look at a custom-built coach that I put together, earlier this year, and fell in love. So now, of course, they're the happy owners. Now, here in the rear, you'll see that we have the wall-mounted safe. I do have that open so you can see that today. And there's a ton of hanging space in this rear closet. And then down below, you'll see we also have a very nice drawer where you can keep any of your laundry detergent, your Tide Pods, anything that you need for doing laundry, because this coach is not only a bath and a half, it also has a full washer and dryer. And then it has a ton of storage here in the rear bathroom. Look at how deep these drawers are. So much storage back here. Also, you'll note that we've got a ton of space in this medicine cabinet. No need to keep anything in bins above the bed. You've got all the room for anything that you'll need here. Your first aid kits, hairspray, flat irons, all of it can be stored right here in the rear of the coach. And then also you'll see, I love this beautiful subway tile. You can see how well this has stood the test of time. So keep in mind, this is a 2021 Ventana that looks just like it came out of the wrapper. So I think that has a lot to do with the build quality of Newmar, and then also, of course, of the previous owners. So here's your Splendide stackable washer and dryer. As I mentioned earlier, the drawer across the way is going to be good for holding things, because below this you can see the hydronic heat registers. So in having the Oasis system, not only do you have a tankless hot water heater, but you also have a hydronic system that's actually filling up a reservoir with hydronic fluid. That fluid's running through a loop under the coach and pushing air out of these registers. So those registers that you saw below the washer and dryer are actually going to be providing heat for this coach above and beyond the 15,000 BTU air conditioner / heat pumps that you have standard on the 40-foot Ventana for 2021. So you've got heat pumps and you've got hydronic heat, making this a great coach to be able to take camping off-grid. One of the reasons that is because your hydronic heating system has 3 elements. There's an AC1 and AC2 element. That's going to be when you're plugged into 50 amp or 30 amp power. But then above and beyond that, it also can run the heat off of the diesel burner system. So that last element gets the water super hot, so hot that you actually might even have to turn it down, which is really, really nice. Now you'll notice here, I've got all of my lights are here on these KIB panels. These are the same KIB panels I have in my Superstar. I love the fact that you can see when they're on by glowing green. You can also turn the black lighting all the way off, so if you leave the door open and you don't want that soft blue glow coming through, you can turn them all the way down to completely off. And also just barely before off too, so if you want to have it dimmed a little bit, great feature there. Now one of my pet peeves, I'm just going to be honest about it, you cannot see in my coach the add water or the flush button here. As you can see here, it actually glows, which is a huge advantage over my 2022, which doesn't glow. So I never know if I'm filling the potty with water or if I'm flushing it. I have to kind of feel around until I get to that button. So it's very nice to have that. Now back here, you'll also note that we have, we can unlock the rear egress door and open this so that you can actually, oh, do I have that locked? There we go. So you can actually get out of the rear, maybe, hopefully. There we go. And you'll see I've got my awnings out. So this is the Nova awning package. There's a dual Nova awning package. But as you can see, with that elbow pointing down, this is an upgraded awning system that was optional in 2021. It's providing a ton of shade for us today while we're doing our video. And then also I would like to point out that you have not only an opening window right behind the toilet, but you have day and night shades. They are they're manual MCD shades. But for people who are in this segment looking at coaches in this price point, you don't always get all of these great and fantastic features. Some other things that this coach has on it which are worth mentioning: it has the Razor antenna, it has an SK300 satellite system, it has a Wi-Fi system on it as well, and very easily, if you'd like, we could also add Starlink to this coach, because in this bathroom you're going to find a TV. No, that would be on the $1 Million House channel. In this channel, you're going to find in the bedroom, we have a 43-inch flat screen smart TV. So this Samsung TV could be powered by your satellite, which is already on the coach, or if you'd like, you could even run this television off of Starlink. That's what Eric and Kathy did historically. Of course, they took that Starlink with them. And for you, if you want to have a roof-mounted Starlink system or one that you put outside of your campground, we can help you get all of those things installed on this coach. Now earlier I mentioned a lot of hooks. Here's another great placement of a hook. And they're classy looking. I mean, honestly, super classy couple. That doesn't need to be said when you have someone who's coming and picking up a London Air. Of course, they've got great taste, but they've just done really nice modifications. Sometimes when we get into these coaches, we have kind of hokey, like plastic hooks everywhere. So it's really nice that they've done these like really nice coach handles that actually match and tie into all of the hardware throughout the coach. Now here in the bottom drawer, you'll see we've got lots of deep storage. And then of course, in true Newmar fashion, We have lots of drawers here, so a total of 5. These are a little more narrow. They're situated just below your emergency exit. But what's so nice about this exit is that not only do you have cross ventilation on either side of the headboard, but you also have a window that opens here in the rear of the coach. And so in closing that, nice put away and quiet. But as I mentioned earlier, we have MCD shades here, as well as day and night shades. And then also you have 2 outlets up here. So if you are charging something, or I don't know if anyone even uses an alarm clock anymore, but if you wanted to plug in like one of those little Bose charger alarm clocks, you could do that. And then here in this compartment, you'll find we have all of our telematics set up, and there is an adjustable shelf here. If you had Starlink, I don't know that you would need to use this for telematics. You could always use it for shoes. It's a great place to keep your shoes. Now take a look at how beautiful this is. And I have to tell you, one of the nice things about this coach, this has got a very nice soft top mattress on it that came out of a London Air. So we actually took the Air mattress out of this coach. So when you see the window sticker, if you ask me to email it to you, you'll see that it has an R5 radius corner Air mattress. It no longer has an Air mattress, but this is a brand new mattress that came out of their London Air. So you don't have to worry about using someone else's old mattress. You'll have a brand new mattress in this coach. As you can see, we have all the pillows. And then again, all the storage in true Newmar fashion. We've got our 2 110 outlets above the headboard. And this is the caramel glazed maple finish. And then this is the original bedding for the coach. I think they did a really nice job in replacing it with this much nicer kind of tweed looking cover. It really ties into the wallpaper. They have all the original art up. And then as you can see, there is a nightstand on either side of the coach. And this is back when they did not have the USB type C's. So there's 2 USB type A's and 2 110 outlets on either side. So if you did need to run any kind of CPAP machine, you could do it from above through the grommets or down here below. And you'll see there's a ton of storage on either side of this bed. And most importantly, there's a plenty of room here to store not only your sultry novels, but also a water bottle. So while you're in motion, it doesn't go flip-flopping around and roll under the bed. But even more importantly than all of that, there's tuck space. So for those of you that have ever made a bed in an RV, this is such a glamorous thing to be able to reach in and tuck those rear sheets and bedding supplies down below, you know, the sidewall. It's such a hard thing to find in a coach, and it's so important. Now, another thing I love about this caramel glazed maple finish is that it has this really cool kind of mandarin effect to it. So it's got this beautiful wood maple trim. And this is solid maple, but you can take these off and clean behind them. So very easy to dust these if you'd like to, and they're all over the coach, really adding to the elegance of this RV. And you'll say that even in this ducted air conditioning system, you have this beautiful ornamentation on all the corners. And of course, this just drops down so you can replace the filters. And the funny thing is, in discussing the way that the ceilings come down, they tilt this way when you pop them out of the little holders. And then that's how you can change the filters. I know that Eric and Kathy changed them because they complained about the fact that the tilt was towards the bed in the London Air, which is how it is in the Ventana. So it remains the same. But the good news is, in hearing something like that, at least I know that they were changing their air filters as they were using this camper. So in other words, again, the kind of people you'd like to buy a used RV from. It's so important. So as you can see here, we've got our control for our rear bedroom slide here. I'm gonna leave this open just so we can show you the walk space and then also show you the slide from outside as well. Again, another KIB panel, more hooks, so great placement again. And then as we come into the front of this galley area, you'll see that the first thing that we walk past is another door. And that is because this is a 1.5 bath model. So even on this very tiny 40-foot floor plan, oh, take a look at this cute potty. So it's still porcelain, but she's raised on a little pedestal. So even on this cute little 40-foot floor plan, I have a Superstar I've got a lot of engine up in front of me. This coach has so much more living room, about 8 feet more of living room, because of the fact that it's a Class A. So in that, I can have all of this wonderful storage here in the center bath as well. I've got this beautiful pedestal sink. I've got all of this storage underneath. My kick plate for my central vac is right here. And then I also have more storage here for cleaning supplies or extra TP. And again, take a look at all of the storage here. And once again, I'll point out these hydronic heating vents coming out of the coach. So if you're trying to stay warm, you can do that. And then not only do we have a window that vents behind me, we also have another fantastic fan. So this is the second fan that we've seen. And this has, of course, the rain sensor on it, so it will close automatically if it starts to rain at night. And then here in the center, we have the brains of the operation, if you will. So all of your circuit breakers, extra fuses and cords, and they've still given you some room to keep extra things like maybe your black tank, cleaner and all that stuff in the center bath. So as you'll notice here, this door does pivot. And the reason that it pivots is because it's very important to Newmar that you are able to enter and exit your coach easily while you're in motion. So even if you're a big guy, there's plenty of room here to get in and out of this door. And then of course that's across the way from this fantastic Whirlpool. This is the same refrigerator that I have. It's got an ice maker down below. It's got a ton of storage. It's got a great charcuterie drawer. It's got a vegetable and fruit bin as well. And then it has the Prosecco shelf. So we love the removable Prosecco shelf. And a funny thing about this coach is that this coach was actually the second choice because the first choice sold before they could put a deposit down on it. So I do encourage you, when you find a gem like this, take advantage and put that deposit down quickly. But I'll tell you one thing about this RV is Eric and Kathy just left in a fantastic London Air, but they actually love the color combination of this coach a lot. So I guess they were settling, which is pretty funny to say. But if you love this coach, let me know. Give me a call. I can help you with pricing. I can send over a deposit form. I made a video of a 3512 Ventana, a 2026, just a few weeks back. I have a client that has a 2023 that he purchased from me. He wanted to get something a little smaller. Watched that video, gave me a call. We were able to work everything out, even though he's in Florida. So regardless of where you are, you can reach out to me. It's not like those other channels where you're watching a presentation by somebody who's going to hand you off to another associate. I'm actually your girl. So the reason I make these videos is to generate income for my family, to support our store, and of course to support all the staff that we have here at Transwest. Because at the end of the day, if you're watching this video and you love this coach, but maybe you bought a coach from, Grant Russell or Mark Love or someone else, you can still use this information. Make that call though. Take the coach off the market when you see it, because this one's going to go fast. Now here we go in the pantry. I can't wait to show this to you. Another great upgrade. So they added these lights that turn on in the pantry when you open and close the doors. This was not a standard feature. Now this was the first year that they came in with the push to release doors. In 2020 there was a button, and if you had people come in that weren't familiar with where they how to open them, there was a little button up here, so they'd pull this thing and then it would just break off the little latch. So this push to release is really nice, but the fact that they went in and actually added this cool lighting is really cool. And they've done this in enhanced LED lighting throughout the coach. Now here you'll see the very popular booth dinette. Now take a look at something that I think a lot of people don't notice initially about this. This is a much wider table than you have on the other tables. So this width here is much wider than you have seen on most of your tables. So by the time you pull this table out and actually have seating around here, not only is it really long, but it's also much wider than some of the other tables you'll find in this segment. Now underneath, of course, in the extendable booth, you also have all of the storage. And it's funny because when Kathy and I were looking at the coaches, The London Air has this same Euro booth dinette, and she really liked the extended dinette. And I said, well, you're going to lose all your storage. And she was like, oh goodness, you know, because this is really important space here. This is where I keep all of my bowls and my plates, and then on the other side I keep all of my my placemats and my napkins. So really love that. I also love this huge window, and again, you've got 110 outlets with USB Type A's on both sides. So if you are working from this coach, not only will you not touch knees, you'll also have room to have a laptop off or a laptop out in opposition with each other. So you could have plenty of room to work from the coach. This little buffet that stays in place, of course, is a nice place to keep some flowers, maybe your napkin holder, some Cholula, whatever kind of hot sauce you like, your salt and pepper shakers. And then just to the right of it, you'll see these really beautiful wall sconces. And then overhead storage. And it's funny, I'm working with a couple today. I think that we're gonna custom order a 2026 Essex. And they have a 2023. One of the things that they were mentioning to me though is that they had taken out these cabinets so they could have a bigger window. And all they want is their cabinets back, because they had had a Dutch Star before and thought that it would be really nice to have that extra window space. But in all honesty, this is the business side of the bus. This storage up here really gives you a place to keep all of those shoe boxes. You can label them from A to Z with a label maker, have your flashlights, your batteries, outdoor kitchen supplies, all the things that you just need to have at a hand's grab. Or you could keep puzzles, Monopoly, especially if you like to fight with your family. No, I'm just kidding. No, really, people, honestly, Monopoly is not good for relationships. Okay, so I have to tell you, one thing I love about this coach is I'm able to come in and change these to match my outfit. So I really love the fact that I can change these cup holders and the colors of the lights. So today, of course, I'm doing kind of the blue and reddish orange color. And then all of the remotes are down here. All the room for the bedding. Again, another great little place where you've got another light put inside. And then our televator button is the old-fashioned kind, but I do have the televator up. And I'll turn on these wall lights real quick so you can just see those glowing. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the televator down so that you can see out of this beautiful window. So this, of course, has the theater seats opposing the trifold couch. So you've got a place for people to sleep on the other side. And then the theater seats are really, really wide. So if you have a small dog, like my little friend Lunabelle, she could live right here with you. Short-haired dachshund, about this big, personality about this big. But yes, although this coach was inhabited by a small female pooch named Luna, there's no odor, there's no dog hair. Again, really fastidious, very clean client, great person to buy a coach from. But if you are allergic, I don't know. I'm allergic to most dogs. I don't have anything going on here, but it's important, I think, that we're upfront and honest with you that there was a previous inhabitant named Luna. Okay, now I have my clipboard sitting on the extendable island. The extendable island has big drawers. So look at the size of that junk drawer. You can put so much junk in there. So huge drawers. These, of course, are collapsible. This is a gigantic kitchen, by the way. I don't know if you've been able to garner how huge this is, but this is a lot of cooking space. Again, for a 40-foot coach, this is quite spectacular. And it has all of the good features. Like, it has the built-in dishwasher. It has stainless steel undermount sinks, nice deep basins. These are the same sinks that I have, and so I do use this side for soapy water, and then this is the rinse side. So I'll rinse first, soap, and then rinse again. But it's a pretty good system. And then I use my dishwasher most frequently, to be honest with you, as a drying rack. And then when it's time to hit the road, I'll usually run, it has a bunch of different settings, but I'll just run the rinse and dry feature so that it sterilizes all of the plates and gets everything clean before I put them under for storage. Now here you'll see a great place to keep, you know, some balsamic vinegar, maybe some olive oil, tons of deep pocket storage here in these overhead cabinets. And then in my opinion, I would take this out and use this to keep my coffee paper or coffee pot and perhaps my toaster, but you can use it however you like. Another, again, lights everywhere in this coach. He's installed so many extra little treats. And then Kathy we had to install this because in the London Air it didn't have this little thing, and she uses this spice rack a lot. So great spice rack. It's really fun to have a client come back in and talk about the things that are important to them, because as an experienced camper who owns a Newmar, I can share with you not only my experiences, but when I work with other clients that come in and tell me what they like, what they don't like, what they need to see, it's really fun to give you that feedback so you can understand how useful this coach will be for you when you're out there on the road camping. And one of those things that's useful is an adjustable shelf system where you can change the height for the things you're storing. It's very, very nice. Another thing that I consider to be exceedingly useful is these really nice, well, I'm not going to say that because I don't use the cutting surfaces, but these covers are removable, as is this true induction cooktop. So this can actually come out. Take a look at how tidy this is though. This is a very, very clean cooktop. This can come out. You can use this to cook outside, and you don't have to worry about the loss of heat that you'll get on a propane-based stove, because this true induction can be set either by temperature or by 1 through 5. You can get a very precise cooking temperature at any altitude because it's actually measuring to that temperature, as opposed to turning the flame higher, turning the flame lower. Oxygen content in the air, of course, as you go up in elevation is changing. This is such a nice, consistent cooktop. The other thing I really like about this is not only can you boil a pot of water with a paper towel under the pot without catching it on fire, so huge fire safety system, but on top of it, being able to take it outside. If it's gusty or breezy at all, you're still gonna have that connectivity when the pot's down. So if you have, we have a portable stove that, we'll drag around from us from time to time. So we've just got it, under the bay. It's one of those little Coleman ones. But we use our cooktop outside more frequently because even if it's a little breezy, it's just nice to have something where it's magnetically heating that pot, so you don't have to worry about the ventilation. There's the little drain covers in the scrubby drawer. I love a place to keep a sponge and a scrubby. And then you'll notice here that you're going to have to buy a trash can. So they've taken the trash can with them, which is probably fine because, I don't know, someone else's trash can's probably about as gross as having someone else's mattress. So, hey guys, thanks very much for taking all your stuff with you. Oh, and Jody, you know what I didn't mention? There's a water dispenser on the refrigerator. That's an important feature, folks. The only reason that I want to make sure I cover that is because for those of you that are bringing a Brita with you in your fridge, drinks take up the most space, right? So it's really nice to have a water dispenser on that refrigerator door, and that is filtered again, so that's double filtered, if you will. The first filter is the whole house water filter outside, and then there's another water filter inside of the refrigerator. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a trifold. So what's nice about this mattress is that you can actually have company sleep very comfortably here in the coach with you. And if you're like me, I put all my kids, when their friends come, in sleeping bags. You could probably fit a nice sleeping bag underneath here. There's also 2 seatbelts here, as there are 2 seatbelts in the theater seats, and then another seatbelt in the forward-facing booth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seatbelts, so a total for 7. And then this inflatable air mattress makes this very, very comfortable. Now, we don't do these air mattresses anymore. We just have the standard memory foam. But if you're having a parent or somebody who's maybe a little more fussy sleeping with you, we find a lot of times people are actually bringing like a foam topper for their fold out. You won't need to do that on this coach. This is a full queen size air mattress. You can put your fitted sheet on there, and it'll be just like you're sleeping on the, on a nice mattress at home. So great feature there. Let me go ahead and get this closed. Very important to make sure you use your handle and check your legs to make sure they're folding in when you put your coach or your bed back. And then these are Velcro, so I like to get them in place first and then just slide them to where you want them to stick. Because if you put them in and you put them down like this, they get stuck high. So you want to make sure you just slide these into place nice and neatly. And then up here above, you'll see, oh, isn't that quaint? This is back in the day when we still had a Blu-ray player. We stopped putting Blu-ray players in coaches in 2022. I think it's funny that they left it behind. They probably used it as much as everybody else does. which is why we don't put them in the coach anymore. Everyone's doing, you know, Wi-Fi, Starlink. And then this does have the Razor antenna. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but in this era of coaches, if you didn't have a Razor antenna, you had like this little twisty guy on the ceiling. And it's not a big deal, but I think that one of the things that this coach comes off as being is very high-end, very executive, very well built, solid maple cabinetry, tile floors, a whole slide. You know, this whole full wall slide is absolutely a huge feature of this coach. The fact that it goes all the way down from start to finish. Okay, so 100-gallon fuel capacity, 13-gallon def tank versus what was in the previous year, a 10-gallon. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these slides in so you can see that whole house slide come in. So this is the full length of the coach less the bathroom, really giving you so much room in this coach. Now this is the Chateau decor, and then this is again the caramel glazed maple with the matte finished. And then outside we're going to see what was my favorite for this model year, which is the Largo graphics. Absolutely love the Largo graphics. So there's one side in. Let's bring in this other side. And I think what's really impressive again about this coach is the smart positioning of that pocket door being on a pivot so that you have access to your pantry, you have access to your refrigerator, you have access to your kitchen, and you also have access to your dinette. Now to prove this to you, I am going to walk back there. I have to tell you, sometimes we let Jody go on vacation. Like, he went on vacation about 2 weeks ago, and I mean, I love Christine. She's a darling lady, but there's no one like this guy. Like, he already knows I'm going to walk back here. He's moving aside. He's getting ready for me to show you all of this livable space. It's almost like he could read my mind. It's almost like he made all 300 of these videos with me. Ask his chiropractor. All right, so now I'm in. And as you can see, plenty of room here to get in and out. Now I'm out. I have room to get to my refrigerator, both sides, as well as my freezer. Now keep in mind, the space that you see here is only available because of the fact that I still have that bedroom slide out. And then here I can go ahead and just close this up. And now my doors are locked. I'm safe to be in motion. I can still access my pantry. And I can still make you a sandwich, and you can still do the dishes, because I don't like to do dishes, honestly. I don't take out trash or do dishes. I'm really good at a dishwasher, really good at a dishwasher. Okay, so as we come through and we go to the front of this coach, again, little things that make you go, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Move chairs before slide. Oh, thank you very much, because what's the number one thing people like to do? Slide their chair into the little pocket and then pop the slide out and pop the fascia off. This is your awning for the door. This is again that Nova set of awnings that you have here. We also have our solar controller. We added solar to this coach for Eric. He actually added a visible controller here. We normally keep our controllers in the bay next to the batteries, so this one actually has two. And then you can see all of the different labels that they have here. What your GVWR is, what your front capacity is, your fresh, your gray, your black. I mean, there's all this stuff. What your PSI should be, your height, your width, your length. It's 40 feet 10 inches to be honest, but still, I mean, just brilliant that he has everything labeled for you here. There's your Oasis system. Again, we talked about that hydronic heat, which was optional back then. Your Magnum inverter is a 2800 Magnum pure sine inverter. You've got your energy management system, that Razor antenna that we talked about, the slide controls. Oh, these are security lights. Sorry, the slide controls are right here. And then you'll notice here, although they did upgrade this chassis in 2023 to give you more buttons, you still have all of the different buttons available to you through this coach. So you can look at your fuel economy, you can look at your diagnosis, you can look at your speed. All of these things are very nice and digitally displayed. The one upgrade I'll tell you that I think is nice is the DEF is now displayed on the dash. It's not the biggest thing, but it is kind of handy. And then here you'll see that we have our engine brake is on the stock, and so is our transmission. So if I twist this to D, I go into drive. If I twist this to R, I go into reverse. And after I twist this into N, I'm going back into neutral. I can still shift into manual mode here. The Voyager dedicated rear view camera system, you can see I've got it set to the left right now, so you can see where your turn signal indicator is. And then you can see we also have our Exalnet radio with the Rand McAnally navigation system. You've got your lock and unlock feature for your coach here. And then keep in mind, this coach also has your, dedicated camera system. So you've got the 360 camera. Ask me how to get there now. iPod, no, it must be in this little menu. Okay, so I would have to figure out how to do that. Oh, there's your Sirius. I know that that's another optional feature for 2021. But this does have the 360 camera. Sorry for not knowing how to execute it. Mine's a little bit different. My dash is just a little bit bigger. All of that being said, on these coaches, having a rear view camera is really important for knowing when to stop, and having a 360 camera is really good to know how to avoid the picnic table from the front of your coach. So really nice feature to have. Also great storage underneath here. This is something I wish Newmar would do in their high-end coaches. I don't need wood. I want a little plastic bucket like this that I can clean out. Look how tidy that is. This is just a really, really nice place to keep your phone, your wallet, your sunglasses. And then we do have your USB charging ports as well. And again, your lock and unlock for your entry, and then also your camera select, which I'm pushing the button and nothing's happening. So obviously I need some lessons. Oh, speaking of lessons, if you buy your coach here, we're not gonna just leave you out there on your own. As you can see, we have people camping here. People who are camping here may be here for service. They may have just picked up their coach yesterday, but we have a actual very nice delivery schedule. We do 3 deliveries a day, 5 days a week, 2 on Saturdays. We are closed on Sundays, but Marlon will actually go through and show you not only how to use your camera system, but how to dump your tanks, how to turn on your air conditioning, how to turn on your hydronic heat, all of the things that you need to know to operate your vehicle before you get on the road. And then after you take your lesson and you do your orientation and you've inspected the entire pre-owned coach, or new for that matter, you're asked then to pay for it, as opposed to having to, you know, come in, do paperwork, and then we give you some, you know, slingshot delivery that doesn't really cover most of the stuff you need to know, and we kick you out and send you down the road. No camping sites to be had. This is a very different delivery system. And then on top of it, not only do you have Marlon for your technical advisement after your purchase, you also have Bill Habercorn, who stays with you for the life of your ownership. So as long as you have questions, you can call Bill, and he is our dedicated representative that does nothing but help to keep you on the road and camping when you're running into things that you don't understand. It's really fantastic. I can't tell you how many troubleshooting measures he can go through with you so that you can actually not have to go into a shop to find out that it's actually ESTO, equipment smarter than operator. Happens to the best of us. I mean, heck, I've been here forever and I can't figure out how to get the camera system on. So if you had a question like that, I promise you, I could call Bill right now and he'd be like, oh, Katie, you just have to go through this. And it's amazing. He can just walk you through those solutions. And that's something that you're only going to get at Transwest. Now, of course, Newmar has a fantastic support system as well. But you're calling a big mothership as opposed to calling a small location where he could literally get out, walk out to a coach, take a look at the issue that you're having, and then even FaceTime or sit with you in that situation, helping you to solve it. Okay, so off that, back onto this. Headlights, power mirrors, heated mirrors. You also have your air horn versus your little horn. And then there's a cord down here that plugs into this white cord behind me, and that is for the LED lighting that Eric installed. And then also you've got your equalizer leveling system. And I'll tell you, it's really funny. When I get into the coach with them, I see that he has all these like little sticky pads all over the place. So even in the London Air, like the day after he took delivery, he already had like all of his little storage things that he loved. Now I'm gonna show you the cabinet above the driver's spot, because this is kind of a funny story. So in the new London, of course, it has this big TV up front. And when you change the channel, it changes it on both and it makes him nuts. The solution is just to have no TV and to have a lot of storage. So I talked to my friend Steve, who's trading in the 2023 Ventana for the 26. And you know what he did? He actually, Eric, we were watching this video, he replaced the TV in the front so that it wasn't on the same remote, because they're on the same remote, they're the same channel. But in this case, you don't have to worry about that happening, because guess what? There's no TV up front. You do have window shades up front. So again, day and night shades here. And then also you'll have wireless charging docks for your phone. A nice step cover. I should close that. You can still see that. I'll tell you one thing that I really like about the new coach is right here they have an all lights off switch. In this case, if you wanted to turn all the lights off in the coach, you could just turn the house off, which is right here on this side, but then of course you're turning everything else off. Something I don't particularly care for, to be honest with you, is after 2025, they stopped giving me my mobile desk. I really like having this little desk. I think that this is a really cool place to be able to sit down and have a sandwich, put down my glasses, look at my clipboard. So I don't know, I kind of like the desk. No more desk, guys. Sorry. What is that? Every season change or turn or something like that. It makes me think of that song. So things change. Things get better. Then you lose your desk and you're so sad. Boy, I slingshotted that one away, didn't I, Jody? It's like, God, Katie, get a little more aggressive. Okay, so Luna's food went in here. It's clean, just so you know. It's not dirty. And then underneath that went her leashes and her water dishes. And then there's a fire extinguisher here, nice handles to get in and out. When I came in, they had all the vents closed here, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it was whistling. It doesn't whistle. Jody, I'm gonna let you go out first. Oh, and on your way out, Jody, show this. Little place to keep your beer. Just kidding, don't drink and drive. It's against the law. These recliners are full-fledged recliners, and they do turn around, and they do have footrest and armrest on both. And then I'm gonna turn this off because we don't need to have that on. And then since we're gonna go outside now, I always have to have the generator running when I do my videos with Jody because he does not like it when I don't have air conditioning on. I get in big trouble. He's giving me the thumbs up. First thing he says, Katie, is air conditioning on? Yes, Jody, I've got the air conditioning on. If I have AC on, then he knows I'm ready to go. Okay, so this is my favorite paint for 2021. This is the Largo exterior. It's so beautiful. It was so easy. I knew exactly what I was gonna wear today. As you see here, we have our numbered keypad. I do have the code for this. It has been changed. You can modify it to be your own in case Eric and Kathy decide they wanna come by and get into your coach. We can reprogram it. It's got a doorbell. You also have your nice screen door with the beer pass through. And then I am gonna close this. You'll see I have the step on lock so it stays out while you're camping. There's your right turn camera for when you're going down the road. Nice chrome convex mirrors. Very, very attractive coach. And this coach has, one of the things I would be cognizant of when looking at a used coach, see how there's no bugs on here? That means that this coach was washed in between trips. So after it arrived, instead of sitting there and having the bugs bake into the paint, they were removed right away. So there's not a bunch of burnt in bugs. That happens a lot if you don't clean the front of your coach. When you arrive, you do get that kind of the baked in bug effect. When on a used coach, it's just nice to have a clean, clear bra or diamond shield, if you will. So this coach has a lot of room for the outdoor refrigerator. If you'd like to have the slide tray installed and the outdoor fridge installed, you're more than welcome to. I personally prefer a regular cooler. I mentioned earlier a 100-gallon def tank, and then you have your outdoor TV. So 43-inch in the bedroom, 50-inch in the living room, and then another big 43-inch TV outside, all with Bose sound bars. And then there is 2 USB type A's and a 110 outlet here. And then look at the storage here. So tons of storage. This is a 1,000-pound rated slide. It goes both ways. It comes out to 60%, so you can load it all the way through the middle, even when the slides are deployed. And it goes in and out really easily. And I love to show that, especially on a coach that's 4 years old. Look at how well that just continues to operate. I don't really love power slides, just so you know. If you haven't watched any of my videos, then you don't know that. But if you've watched any, then you do know. I really like those manual slides. I also like to have a bay that doesn't have anything, because as you can see, they get a little more height when you don't have that tray. Also, more LED lights. As you can see, there's a plug right there that's hanging down. And then you can see front awning 1, back awning 2 labeled. Honestly, we should probably take lessons from Eric and Kathy on how they've labeled everything on this coach. It just makes it so useful. There's one of the cameras for this 360 cameras as well. And then again, these big awnings up top, giving us all the shade. And then in 2025, you'll note that we did do away with the cork board, and now there's a control panel for all of your fuses here. This is actually very useful to hang tools from, or more importantly, barbecue utensils. Okay, we've got to keep our priorities straight, right, Jody? Barbecue first. Okay, so here is a little sample of where that cogwheel slide rolls in and out. The nice thing about knowing that we're on a cogwheel is that you're not on a cord that could stretch out or get longer as you get older in terms of use. This cogwheel is bulletproof. It's a big round cog that has little teeth that come off of it, and each one fits into one of those little holes, and a whole rotation's about a foot. So it just rotates in and out, and it's very, very solid. It's something that we see used actually in the factory to move things around. Not just to put slides in and out, but they actually use it to roll things in and out in their cabinet shop because they're so robust and durable. Now you'll notice here in this Alcoa rim, first of all, high polished aluminum rim. If any is a drive axle, the Audi is one that pivots. So the turning radius of this coach is from the center of this wheel to the center of the front wheel as opposed to the rear. But this rear passive axle is actually what allows you to have that great turning radius and also that 15,000 pound towing capacity. Now here you'll notice the back of the egress door. There's a little vent for your dryer. Here is your battery compartment. Look at how tidy this is. So again, Freightliner chassis, 400 horsepower, 1,250 foot-pounds of torque. This SCR chassis has been fantastic for Freightliner. Of course, you can do the SL and get into the 605, but this XCR chassis has been just a mainstay for a majority of all of the Newmar lines. Now, if you would like to get out of the rear radiator, keep in mind the only reason that you would do a side radiator over a rear radiator is really for access to the engine compartment. In my service department, when you come in, yes, that's correct, we have a chassis and house service department here at Transwest. You can have all of your service done in one location. I know that that's unusual, but we don't charge more for an oil change with a rear radiator or a side radiator. It doesn't really matter much to us. So here's another camera. As mentioned, this coach has this little attachment here. That's for putting that Starlink up on the coach. So this coach did have a mobile Starlink unit. And then here in the rear bays, just little things like hooks to hang stuff. As I mentioned, very much used and loved product by Kathy and Eric. Just loved this little coach. Took it lots of camping trips. They're actually still camping right now. I called Eric to ask him what that white cord was for the LED lights right before the video. There's a little tiny paint chip here, but I mean, to be very candid with you, this coach, it's used, right? So it's not new, but God, it's in really fantastic condition. I promise you, if you're looking for a 40-foot diesel pusher with an 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator, 2 air conditioners, 50 amp, and a hydronic heating system, this is the coach you're looking for. That little compartment there was for your hose, and of course your gloves for when you're putting that def in, because it's kind of stinky. There is your water bay. As I mentioned earlier, you got a whole house water filter. Your fresh water supply is on a power reel, so it's easily stowed away, as is your power cord. These are all little features when you're out there in the world looking at coaches that make such a big difference. Having power reels in your coach keeps your hands so much cleaner. It's so much easier to put things away. And then again, the whole house water filter for your ice maker, for your shower water, whatever, is all right there, easy. And then a secondary water filter in your refrigerator. The other thing to note is in 2023, we made a modification to our doors, making it much easier to close them. The benefit you'd have of buying a used 2021 is that someone's already broken in the doors because they're a little stiff at first. But these ones all close really well. Again, there's that power reel. You do have the optional surge protector. You also have your cable outlet there. And then some of these lights, for instance, these little LED lights in the compartments, those are actually factory installed. They come with the coach. But whatever was lacking is now here. There's your Oasis system. You can see when it was last serviced. Again, it's just a fantastic person to purchase a coach from. Now, on that note, we will do a full chassis service. We'll do an alignment. We will do a generator service. We really go through these entire coaches when we put them back on the road for you, and we make sure that not only is your house fully inspected by a professional RV mechanic that is certified by Newmar, we also have diamond level accreditation for our service department, and we also have a full chassis service with Freightliner certified technicians, Onan, Cummins certified technicians. We're Oasis certified as well. So really there's not a better place you could buy your RV from than Transwest here in Frederick, Colorado. Here's the other side of that full wall slide out. Some LED lights in here as well. And then here in this front bay, this is where things are a little bit different. So if you had ordered this coach in 2021 without the full electric package, you'd only have 4 batteries. This coach has the full hydronic package, and it has 8 batteries in it as opposed to the standard amount of batteries. And again, that is because this is an all electric, no propane coach. And these are all, of course, 6 volts daisy chained together. Look at how, I hate to tell you this, but this battery bank looks better than it does when it comes from the factory. This is a really, really nice coach. I'm actually surprised. I'm looking at my watch right now. It's on silent, but no one's called me yet. You should call me, because if you want this coach, I promise you this video is going to sell this coach. This is a nice RV. Okay, so again, 100-gallon fuel capacity. Here's the brains of the operation. And then the release for the generator is right here. And I know I say things more than once often, but again, 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator nestled up here in the front underneath. I'm not going to put the kickstand down right now because I don't need to. Well, I'm not going to close this either because I don't want to. Where does it go, Jody? I have too many things in my hands. Do you see where it goes? Oh, there it goes. Okay, I see it. Okay, so again, this is an 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. The other end of that would just go right over there. There we go. And then you have your air horn, and then you also have a nice light in here as well. When you close these, you saw how easily that comes down. You want to get it nice and close and then just push it shut like that. That way you don't knock that kickstand open while you're closing the coach. Again, 360 camera up above. Beautiful bug-free front end, clean windshield, big windshield wiper blades. If they need to be replaced, that would be, of course, included in our pre-delivery inspection. This is stock number 5U250784. I'm Katie O. It's August 7th, coming to you live from Transwest Truck Trailer RV on a Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Please let me know how I can get you out on the road and camping.